Hi everyone. First of all, thank you Harrison for including me in the retrospective and celebratory Crazy Ex-Girlfriend video on your YouTube channel, Bagels After Midnight. I have always been a big fan of your videos and how they help bring to fore the heart and nuance that goes in the show. I'm also very excited to be able to share and voice my love for the show on such a public domain on YouTube in front of the whole world. So thank you for that, Harrison. A little bit about me before we begin to give some context to this video and establish where I come from. My name is Tamanna and I'm an 18-year-old girl, and if you hadn't already told from my appearance and accent, I'm Indian. And because I'm Indian, English is my second language, so kindly excuse any syntax errors in my language in this video. Please also forgive me for any technical mistakes that I might make in the making of this video, because I have no prior experience or expertise in shooting videos, in doing anything related to a camera apart from taking like basic pictures. So I have no idea about the best angles or best lighting or any other technical jargon that is associated with videography. So I am a novice in this. Please deal with me. So to begin, for some time now there has been a dearth of genuinely good content in India. I'm definitely not saying that it doesn't exist at all. That would be a generalization, but it's more of like it's blink and miss, and because it's not commercially viable, so it's not made enough of, and you get the drift. It's just not an inseparable part of our mainstream content. So things have been changing of late, but it's still very much an ongoing process. So as a result of this, Indian youths like myself find themselves turning to Western media to get their fix of quality entertainment. Again, I feel the need to clarify here because I don't mean to generalize that. Obviously, I understand that not all Western content is mind-blowing, but it's just that as a society, you guys are definitely in a much more comfortable position to come up with original, daring, nuanced content. For example, to take an example, let's say Hamilton, right? Like, what a phenomenon. What a rage, and it's completely revolutionized musical theatre in the last 2 or 3 years since it's been out, right? So a thing like Hamilton, I doubt if it would ever be able to get made in India, because what Hamilton basically does is it takes a lot of liberty with portraying the nation's founding fathers' lives. And I don't think that sort of thing will be able to fly here, because here it would give birth to a lot of ugly politics about misrepresenting the people who were pivotal in freeing the country. And no one will grasp the concept of creative license. So that's what I'm talking about. My introduction to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was a part of the same process. One day I was just going through my TV channels and looking for something worth watching, and I stumbled upon Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It was the pilot. Now, one thing to take away from my assessment of what I saw is that it is not only very predictably a praise of Rachel Bloom, Aline Brosh McKenna, Jack Dolgen, and Adam Schlesinger, but also of Melina Root, who is the costume designer of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. If you don't know, because you should. She designs all of the amazing, amazing costumes on the show. Everything about the pilot till the point I saw it, and I think it was still West Covina, was perfect. Just how they spun the very generic romantic comedy premise of girl moving across country, or just a girl doing a crazy thing for a boy, for a high school crush whom she bumps into several years later, into this very interesting show, a musical, a quirky musical at that. That hooked me from the beginning. And I think from the beginning you got the sense that there has to be so much more to a character like Rebecca than what a typical rom-com would have shown you. I think a typical rom-com would have painted it as a cutesy love story that you were supposed to root for, because she's just a girl in love. But with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I think it was made very clear from the beginning. You knew that there had to be dark undertones and a mental health aspect involved in making such an impulsive decision. And of course, anyone who will listen to West Covina will get right away that its songwriters have a way with words. And I'll admit that I didn't get all references as a non-American right away, but I got most of them, and I found it to be some extremely clever writing. And the blue dress. That dress was, for reasons I can't quite understand or articulate, for it is a pretty generic dress as far as dresses go. It was the perfect choice for the song, for the scene, for Rachel. And it has become such an iconic dress in the minds of all of us Crazy Ex-Girlfriend fans. And I think some of us continue to associate it continue to associate that image of Rachel with the short blonde hair and that blue dress on the giant pretzel as like the definitive cover image of the show. Like even when it's leading up to its fourth and final season. So I think that's a testament to how good everything involved in the production of that song was. The costumes, the choreography, obviously the lyrics and the song in general. But sadly, I got out of touch with the show after that. And yet the blue dress had stuck with me. West Covina had stuck with me. It moved out of Indian TV. I got on to watching some other stuff. So there was a considerable gap in me resuming the show. And yet, somehow, it was always at the back of my mind that I had to resume the show someday. Because I knew that I had liked what I had seen. And I knew that I wanted closure for what happened to Rebecca after she moved there for Josh. I was also constantly being reminded of it in some way or the other, be it in the form of a random list on Twitter about which shows I should absolutely check out if I am looking for an earnest and realistic portrayal of mental health, or a tweet from Hank Green, who is an entrepreneur and a YouTuber. For those of you who don't know, he's a very famous YouTuber and entrepreneur, and he's just someone whose opinion on art I personally trust a lot. So be it a tweet from him calling Crazy Ex-Girlfriend Jane the Virgin masterpieces. So it was as if like I'll pull off Rebecca from season 2 episode 3, all signs point to Josh, or is it Josh's friend. I'll pull that off here and say that it was as if the universe was telling me that it was sending me signs that I had to watch the show. And watch I did. Finally, I think it was 9 to 10 months back. My exams had ended and I needed something to watch to get myself out of my teenage lovesick self and validate that I wasn't the only one struggling with maintaining a good mental health. And that brings me to what I am primarily supposed to talk about in this video. My prompt for this video: what has Crazy Ex-Girlfriend meant to me? The obvious answer is a lot. For starters, it came out at just the right time for me. I am so glad that I watched it when I did, because that is exactly when I needed to watch it. I feel like my experience of watching the show could have been considerably different had I watched it at a different stage of my life, or had I watched certain episodes live on a weekly basis, or sometimes the episodes tend to have 2-week gaps, and obviously there's that 1-month gap due to the mid-season break. So had I watched the episodes on that basis, so I feel like maybe I wouldn't have been able to fully appreciate the nuanced commentary on society's ideas on romance and feminism that were put forward in the show. And I also feel like I wouldn't have been able to appreciate the songs. Like, oh my god, the songs. I have been so spoiled by Crazy Ex-Girlfriend songs, and I just keep listening to its soundtrack all day. I've been so spoiled by its songs, and I'm just constantly looking for similar on the nose parodies and satirical songs now. Like normal songs, what? Who needs them? And of course, as an Indian teen who didn't grow up with a lot of exposure to musicals and stuff, and nope, Bollywood music does not count as. Bollywood movies don't count as musicals. They aren't musicals in the true sense. So, as an Indian teen who didn't grow up with a lot of exposure to musicals and stuff, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend opened up a whole new world of musical theatre to me. Since watching the show, I've been stuck in a rabbit hole of researching about theatre in general and Broadway in particular. I think I'm on my way to becoming a typical theatre kid, whatever that means. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, due to the phenomenal performances of the cast, Rachel Bloom, Donald Champlin, Bella Lovell, Gabrielle Ruiz, Vincent Rodriguez III, Pete Gardner, Scott Michael Foster, Santino Fontana, the show has made me think a lot about entertainers and how much hard work their craft involves. I didn't used to think about that a lot prior to watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I just consumed art. I never stopped to sit and think about it or what went into making it. I also think that I can finally claim to be able to tell the difference between acting and good acting thanks to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So that's a plus, I guess. Enough about the musical theatre aspect. Let's move on to other things. F words like feminism, which brings me to one of the highlights of the show, the Sexy Getting Ready song. I was blown away as soon as it came on because I had never expected to see anything like that, ever. It's just such no holds barred, honest yet comedic commentary on how bullshit our society's beauty standards for women are. I never expected to hear the words ass blood in a song, or expected to see a misogynistic rap being turned on its head. Like, God, what? This is how you get ready? This is horrifying, like a scary movie or something. This is some nasty ass patriarchal bullshit. You know what? I gotta go apologize to some bitches. I'm forever changed by what I just seen. Never expected to hear that. I knew right then that I'll be loving the show with all my heart. And the best part about it is that it didn't stop there. It didn't stop at that one wow moment. It continued to amaze me and take me by surprise every episode. Like the next episode, they actually managed to flesh out Valencia's character and made me root for her after it. In any other rom-com, Valencia's character would just have been the hot mean girl I'd be conditioned to hate because she was coming in the way of my protagonist's dream love story. But Crazy Ex-Girlfriend humanized her and gave her layers. Because girls like Valencia, they're just wronged. They are duped into a construct laid out by society that they have to be a certain way, look a certain way, or they have no worth. And I think it also reminded us as viewers, as consumers of content, that it's really problematic to root for sabotaging someone else's relationship to get your own way, right? And well, then came the next episode, a boy band song about mental health. Then came the next, a song about settling for someone, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers style. And then the next, a personal favorite, I'm a Good Person, a song about desperately wanting to be known as an inherently good person when your actions continually manifest that maybe you're really, really not, but you don't want to acknowledge that. I felt so called out by that song. And up next, a Nicki Minaj-esque rap about being good with parents, and songs about depression being fetishized, a song about group hangs, a song about that feeling, that all too familiar, all too persistent feeling of I could if I wanted to. Because that song is a straight up assault on my ego. Songs about UTIs, math of love triangles, and oh my god, a song about generalizing about men because men. So, okay, on a side note, it still amazes me that there are people who just don't get the satire behind all these songs. Like if you go on the YouTube comments of Let's Generalize About Men, you will find all these butthurt men who just don't understand the song, and they're so offended, and they're like, not all men. Yeah, I could say similar things about women as well, because that's just not the point of the song. It just goes over people's head, and it's hilarious and sad at the same time. So anyway, have I made it clear? Like, this show has been a godsend to me. Its humor, its writing, its songs and their music videos, and just its overall creativity have meant so much to me. They have made me sit up and take notice. I've been thinking about the plot and the characters way after I'm done watching the show, which wasn't something I used to do. I used to do a lot, and I'm just so invested in all the characters' well-being. Like, I just want Rebecca to find the thing or things that make her go, this is what happy feels like, for real this time. To genuinely love and be content with herself. And I want Paula to become a badass lawyer because she deserves it. I want Josh to grow up and find himself. I want Nathaniel to acknowledge that at least some things are your own fault and take responsibility and work towards becoming a good person. I want Greg to stay happy and sober. And I feel like I am echoing the sentiments of the entire fandom when I say all this. And yes, there will be a void in my life when the show ends next February, and just saying it out loud feels so weird. Because I've got so used to it. I've got so used to seeing the fun on-set stories of the wonderful cast and how close-knit they are, how they treat each other like family, and I'm so used to the songs, because randomly bursting into Let's Generalize About Men or Ping Pong Girl or I Go to the Zoo or I'm a Good Person has become a part of my life. So to know that there would be no more songs like these definitely is sad, but at the same time I am so glad and just so proud of Rachel and Aline that they get to defy all network TV odds and end this finish the series on their own terms like they always envisioned. Bravo to them. So I guess this is all what Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has meant to me. It has treated the very sensitive and pertinent issue of mental health with the utmost respect and realness, while still not becoming bleak. Like, when you think about it, it's actually a very lively show, not just because it has music, but because of its general brand of humor. So I guess this is more of a statement on the show's part that while mental health issues can take you to very dark places, they definitely can, but that's not all there is to it. I guess that's just me theorizing, I'm not sure. So while the show is very lively and colorful, still when Rebecca sabotages her date with Greg or makes idiotic decisions in I Am So Happy That Josh Is So Happy out of desperation as a call for help, you feel it. You feel the strong emotion of self-hatred when she sings You Stupid Bitch. You feel it so much. And the show has made me question, in addition, the show has made me question so many rom-com tropes that I had unquestioningly accepted before. It has opened up the world of musical theatre to me, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is just criminally underwatched, and my hope is that with time, people realize that its 44, soon to be 62 episodes are up there among the most heartfelt television in recent times when they keep on discovering the show through Netflix or other platforms. To me, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has meant feeling understood, almost too well understood, like stop spying on me level of understood and accepted. And it has meant the same for so many other people. I come across so many comments from people on the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend subreddit saying that it has helped them understand their own BPD diagnosis better. And not just people with BPD, it has also resonated with people with other mental illnesses like depression or bipolar disorder or anxiety. And anyone who has ever received an important diagnosis in their life has related hard to and cried during a diagnosis. That's just a fact of the matter. and Tell Me I'm Okay, Patrick. That song is an anthem for all the people who just want to be known as okay. Like, that's the bare minimum. Not even happy or healthy, just okay. And obviously, it just warms my heart so much whenever I come across people using getting by to come out. That's such a wholesome feeling, and it can never be replaced. So this is what Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has meant to me and other fans of the show. So thank you, Rachel Bloom and Aline Brosh McKenna, for co-creating this wonderful show and infusing it with your wit and genius. Thank you, Jack Tolchin and Adam Singer, for being equally amazing partners to Rachel in the songwriting department. And thank you to all of the main and supporting cast for doing their jobs so bloody well. Thank you to the rest of the writers, and thank you to the crew that does a fantastic job behind the scenes, and thank you to the CW for green-lighting the show and for renewing it season after season. I personally cannot wait for season 4. I'm just counting down the days to October 12th. I cannot wait for season 4, and I am so happy that a show like this exists. So I couldn't figure out, because Entice used to be a part of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend till I think season 2. I couldn't figure out how to end this video, so I thought of an end tag on my own, and I got myself some bagels. Like, I broke it into half, a bagel, and it is post midnight where I'm shooting from, so I guess a literal bagel after midnight. This is a cream cheese and herbs bagel, and it is so good. In the words of our worthy protagonist, Rebecca Nora Punch, don't underestimate the joy of a midnight bagel. So I guess this is all from my side. Once again, thank you, Harrison, for letting me be a part of this, and that's all from my side. I look forward to hearing the comments of the rest of the people who will be a part of this video. Bye, signing off.